And as JD mentioned, we'll have more on the story involving the two-star American general killed in Afghanistan in a moment. But first, let's get everyone caught up on what happened overnight. The Associated Press is now reporting that there has been another insider attack in Afghanistan. This one happened late Tuesday at a police checkpoint. An Afghan police officer killed 7 people. All of them were his colleagues. Next, police officials say the attacker stole weapons and took off in a police car. An Afghani doctor told the AP the police officer likely drugged his victims prior to that shooting. An Afghan police spokesman denied that report, but did confirm the attacker involved likely had Taliban ties. Now over to General Harold Green. Today, his family is waiting for his body to come home as U.S. military officials prepare to fly his body back in a coffin. Green, a two-star general, the highest-ranking officer ever killed during the Afghan war, was shot down by a gunman dressed as an Afghan soldier. So as Green's family and the military mourn the loss of a leader, old questions are resurfacing, like what exactly is going on right now in Afghanistan.
The fact that he has 30 years serving in the Army is just a statement on what a true hero and true warrior he really was.
Well, Pentagon spokesman Rear Admiral John Kirby said this latest insider attack will not stop the U.S. from working closely with Afghan troops.
So it's impossible to completely eliminate that threat, I think, particularly in a place like Afghanistan. But you can work hard to mitigate it and minimize it, and ISAF has done that.
Kirby many times during that news conference talked about the growth in the Afghan security forces. Now, that gunman fired into a group of international soldiers. Also, reports are now saying that he may have been hiding in a bathroom prior to the attack, and how the security situation may have gone off the rails there. Of course, another 15 people were injured in the attack. Roughly half of them were Americans. Kirby also answered questions during that news conference about Russian troops amassing near the Ukraine border. He refused to cite an exact number of troops, but he did say they are closer to the border now than they were in the spring.
In other news, Russian hackers stole 1.2 billion usernames and passwords, and possibly twice as many. This internet heist affects more than 400,000 websites. This is the largest known collection of stolen internet credentials. And according to the New York Times, the records discovered by Hold Security include confidential materials such as household names and small internet sites. Due to Hold Security's non-disclosure agreements, the names of the victims cannot be released.
Well, the president's approval rating drops to an all-time low. This as the Obama family and the Secret Service start packing for a summer vacation. 79% of Americans surveyed in a new Wall Street Journal NBC News poll say they are dissatisfied with Mr. Obama. Pollsters say the steep decline is due to lagging support from African Americans and Democrats. This poll also asked if folks would be willing to hold a protest sign for one day. 57% of those surveys said they would. And one of the suggested protest sign comments coming from one of those surveyed said, "Impeach Obama." That came from a female voter in Ohio.
Now into the primary results. Kansas Senator Pat Roberts crushed Tea Party challenger Milton Wolf in Tuesday's primary. This one is a blow to the National Tea Party, with 95% of precincts reporting Roberts led Wolf, 48% to 41%. This is Wolf's first run for public office. Roberts' political career dates back to the 1960s. And in Michigan, attorney Dave Trott defeated Representative Carrie Bentivolio for the GOP nomination. Trott received 66% of the vote to Bentivolio's 34%. Trott will face the winner of the still unresolved Democratic primary in November.
I believe we have a picture of Steny Hoyer there. We should have seen Mr. Bentivolio. Now, the Ebola epidemic, the situation is getting worse every day over in Africa, but there's new focus on the experimental drug now being used to treat both Americans infected with the disease. Nancy Wright-Bull was flown out of Liberia yesterday. She joined Dr. Kent Brantley, who also contracted the virus at a highly specialized treatment facility near the CDC in Atlanta. Family members say the 59-year-old missionary worker is weak, but is improving after she was given that experimental drug.
We're not really going to know whether this drug is effective until it can be tested properly in treatment trials.
That drug, ZMapp, is made out of nicotine leaves. It's being tested on mice having the virus. So far, 80% of those mice have survived. The Ebola outbreak in Africa is the worst in history, and many believe it could get worse.